Miles Teller and Anya Taylor-Joy star in The Gorge, up on Apple TV Plus, guys. I watched this movie. We did a full live reaction for it over on the main Mirror Domains movie channel. Go check that out if you want to, see a full reaction to the movie. I was anticipating this because I am a huge Anya Taylor-Joy fan, and I got nothing against Miles Teller. So what's this movie about? Well, as you can see, it's about a gorge, right? Two highly trained operatives become close after being sent to protect opposite sides of a mysterious gorge. When an evil emerges, they must work together to survive what lies within. Now, that sounds fairly ominous. It sounds sci-fi, and it is. It's got a sci-fi element to it because it's kind of like, well, what are they guarding down here in this gorge, in this mist? Is there monsters down there? Are there monsters? Are there some weird, funky experiments that they got to save the rest of the world from? So, you know the scenario from like what was that? Dead. Dawn of the Dead, right? Where you've got the two people on the two buildings talking to each other, and it's sort of playing out like that. They start talking to each other. They fall in love. It's very romantic, and that part of the movie works. This movie's directed by Scott Derrickson. He's done movies like Sinister, which is a masterpiece in my opinion. He's done Black Phone. So he knows horror genre well. And then, of course, he's done the MCU movie Doctor Strange. So I felt like we were in competent hands. We've got a lot of the right ingredients for a good film. The movie, however, is a touch long. And I think it's going to benefit from being on Apple TV Plus here, because for 2 hours and 7 minutes, there's going to be parts in the film where you might be tempted to hit the old fast forward button, because it does kind of got multiple storylines going on of this romance, of this weird mission that they're on, and you're rooting for them because it is Miles Teller and Anya Taylor-Joy. And then you got to deal with this other storyline of what the gorge is. I've said this in my reaction. You could take out all the sci-fi elements of this film, and it still would work. Just that these two people on the opposite side of this cavern or this gorge find love. There's something there that works. But then you've got this other element of, well, what is in the gorge? Is it monsters? Okay, is it some weird kind of experiment going on down there that they're trying to contain? Is it the doorway to hell? And it's not executed all that well. It's jarring at times in the tone. This is a movie that has multiple genres and tones, and you have to execute it in such a way where you feel like it's cohesive. If I all of a sudden started talking about, oh God, I love Taylor Swift, oh my God, in the middle of my review, it doesn't sit, it doesn't mix in. It's like, what relevance does that have to do with this movie review? Well, it's just, I'm trying to tell you who I am so you understand where I'm coming from. Well, that doesn't fit. So that kind of tone mixture will be jarring for some. What would I compare this to? I said this in my reaction. If you saw that movie Annihilation, that Alex Garland picture, how to have that fungus stuff in there where this alien comes down and creates this bubble kind of thing. It's got shades of that. And all of that stuff is kind of gross and disgusting, and it is a curiosity. There is a curiosity of like, I want to discover what's down in this gorge. But then you want to follow them falling in love. So it'll work for some, and it'll be kind of misplaced, jarring for some. My initial reaction to it was, it was a bit of a swing and a miss for me. I didn't feel like it was all that good. But I've had time to sit on it. So let's go over to the score sheet here and figure out where this finally lands. Acting, directing, and story are out of a possible 2 points. Cinematography and score out of a possible 1 point. But because Miles Teller and Anya Taylor-Joy make this movie work, I got to give it 1.5 for acting. There's no scene in it, though, that's like, oh, that's Academy Award worthy. There's nothing like that. It's competently done, and as I said, because you like the two actors, you're going to follow along with the rest of this movie. Directing. I think this is Scott Derrickson's worst work. It's his weakest effort. And it's a good thing that it is on a streaming service, because if this was in the theater, I don't know if it would be that well received by the audience as much. There's going to be some diehard fans out there of Derrickson fans that'll be like, how dare you speak this way about Scott Derrickson? Well, you like him regardless of whatever he does, so I can't communicate to you really. Anya Taylor-Joy fans are going to watch this. Miles Teller fans will watch this. But I'm looking at the story and how it's executed. Does it make sense? At times it jumps a lot in time, because the mission is for a year, but then it's like September. Next thing you know, it's December, and it's like, wait a minute, did we miss a month here? How much time went by again? Oh yeah, I forgot. It just moves at a weird pace. Story, interesting premise, right? Interesting premise. I like the love story, so let's bump that up again. Do I like the sci-fi angle to this? No, I don't, because it's done so much better in movies like Annihilation, and actually last year's Atlas movie with J-Lo. The sci-fi angle was all handled so much better, because there's just too much going on here, I think. Cinematography, though, was competently done. So no, I can't give it to that. But the score, I'll give the score here a full point, because I'll mix in the score with the soundtrack, and the soundtrack in this movie is good because I like the yeahs. But this movie takes time outs to do musical sequences where you'll just listen to like a music video of these two dancing or shooting their rifles at whatever's climbing out of the gorge, that kind of thing. It's like, we're taking 2 minutes here for this. Okay. First time around, that's whimsy. That's just, okay, you're allowed to do that. But then the third and fourth time you're doing that, you're like, we got some pacing issues here, don't we? And yes, I like the choice of music, but is it necessary to the film? Could we cut some of this out? And it just so happens that upon hindsight, you can cut some of it out, and the film would still work. I would even venture to guess the film would work better. So that's why I give the score a full point. Let's go over the tomato meter here, because we're sitting at a 5 out of 10. Let's go over the tomato meter and see what people are saying about the Gorge. 64% by critics, 78% by the audience. So people seeing this are liking it much better than the critics. Chicago Reader, the romance, as saccharine as it may be, is an endearing through line anchoring the film as it oscillates between its genres. Well, I can't agree with that, because you just saw what I was just saying. Despite looking at it as like it was based on a video game that your younger brother obsessively plays, The Gorge is in fact an original, or whatever that word means, when the plot and aesthetic feel like they've been stitched together from so many other films. So just someone else echoing like the discrepancies in tone and like genre mix, right? Richard Roper, this is a great looking movie with star power leads, and not for a second is any of them even close to being plausible. And we're just fine with that. Okay, so he's at least acknowledging the difference in tone and the audacious scenario that it is, right? But he still liked it, 3 out of 4, huh? Let's go down to the audience reviews. I want to get one that's good and then somebody who didn't like it. Okay. This is what entertainment is about. Action, romance, monsters, and bonkers predictable story. What? Bonkers? Okay, see, now that, you can't have something that's bonkers and yet also predictable. Because if bonkers by definition is like, you don't know where it's going. So then how can it be predictable? Like, it's just, right? turn off your brain and you'll have a good time. So maybe that's true. Maybe I was too analytical, but I was watching it with you guys on the channel, so you saw my initial reaction, my full reactions up there. Tim Q, clearly made for a quick fix streaming service. Script writing is embarrassing. 1.5 stars. Is it the script? See, when somebody says the script, I look at it and say, well, okay, was the dialogue bad? The dialogue wasn't bad. Was the foreshadowing for stuff? Was the story set up and then paying off towards the end? Were there arcs there? Slightly, not greatly. Nowhere near a 78% mark for me. I think I'm more 64%ish. I think I gave it a 6 out of 10 when I did my full review. But as I said, I'm spending a little more time thinking about it. And it's not one where I would be like, hey, I'm not watching that again. That's gross. No. So let's go to the score sheet here. Finalize my score. Because the watchability factor, for all those factors, I'd say it's, there we are, 6 out of 10 again. Could I give it a 6.5? I kind of want to because of Anya Taylor-Joy. I can't, guys. I can't. No, 6 out of 10 is still where I'm sitting. Like maybe for cinematography, because there are some interesting shots. Maybe I will. Why not? Because I said I had some time to think about it. And there you go. 6.5 out of 10 for The Gorge. Cinematography and score are the best part. And then acting. All right, guys. What did you think about The Gorge? Did you like it? Let me know in the comments below. And if you don't know, we just did a review for The Monkey, and that's up on the channel right now, as well as Captain America 4. And as I said, the Gorge full live reaction is up on the Mirror Domain's main channel. Let me know what you thought about the movie in the comments below, and we will talk about it. You're watching Mirror Domains!